until they're speaking, because otherwise we just get feedback, which means others can't hear.
Europea, Ursula von der Leyen, se encuentra en Kiev reunida con Zelensky, también Antonio Costa, en un momento en el que se está hablando y mucho de cuál va a ser la fecha en la que Ucrania se una a la Unión Europea. Se habla de 2027, calla Calas lo dejaba en el aire y Zelensky sigue presionando. Vamos a escuchar esta coalición de voluntarios con Zelensky, con Macron o Starmer, entre otros.
Не схожий. А я трошки постарівшав з моменту нашої останньої зустрічі. Ну, в будь-якому разі, давайте будемо продовжувати. Пане Володимире, наскільки ви, я розумію, ви нас і чуєте, і бачите, ми вас чуємо. Ну що ж, давайте будемо продовжувати. У нас 90 хвилин протягом 4 років. І, звичайно, ми хотіли б віддати належне вашому лідерству, стійкості українців, як тих, хто перебуває на передовій.
Escuchan tanto a Starmer como a Zelensky en esta coalición de voluntarios reunida por el cuarto aniversario de la guerra en Ucrania, después de aprobar un nuevo paquete de 90.000 millones, pero también después del fracaso que ayer se vivía en Europa. Hungría bloquea este 20º paquete de sanciones contra Moscú con las amenazas por parte de un Antonio Costa que se encuentra ahora mismo en Kiev reunido con Volodymyr Zelensky, sobre todo mirando esta coalición de voluntarios.
I see somebody, but it doesn't look like you, Vladimir. Maybe a technician.
I'm a little bit older than I've been before.
The unshaved look. Anyway, let us press on and hopefully get the camera. But Vladimir, you can see us and you can hear us, and we can certainly hear you. I'll press on because we've only got 90 minutes for this call. We've got a lot of people who want to come in, so we need to be reasonably efficient about our use of time. Vladimir, I should say, firstly, on behalf of the whole coalition of willing, that as we mark this 4 years, our thoughts are obviously with you and the people of Ukraine who've suffered tremendously the aggression of Putin over 4 long years now. And we want to pay tribute to your leadership and the resilience of the Ukrainians, both those on the front line, but also the civilians who, on a daily basis, also do everything they can to support the values of democracy and freedom that are so important to all of us. A couple of reminders as we start, colleagues. Firstly, as I say, please stay on mute unless you're speaking. We're on an open line today. That has the advantage that it probably means it won't go down as often as it sometimes does on these calls. It has the disadvantage that there are areas of sensitivity, negotiations, etc., the military planning that we won't want to get to on an open line. And as I say, we've got 90 minutes. I'll try and get as many people in as possible, but if colleagues are brief in their interventions, we'll get through more rather than less. Just by way of opening, I wanted to say I think we should focus on
Escuchan al
four
primer
tasks.
ministro británico Keir Starmer anunciando que hoy ha puesto sobre la mesa el paquete de sanciones más amplio contra Rusia desde el año 2022. Esta mañana ya les contábamos que Reino Unido, el gobierno británico, ha ampliado en 297 posiciones la lista de sanciones contra Moscú. Sobre esto y sobre el apoyo a Ucrania está hablando ahora mismo Keir Starmer.
Russia has suffered 500,000 casualties to gain and occupy less than 1% extra of Ukrainian territory. That is not a country that 4 years into a conflict is winning. And it's always worth reminding ourselves that we were all briefed, and I'm sure you all were, 4 years ago today, that this conflict would be over very briefly. And there was no doubt that Russia would win in a very short period of time. Here we are, 4 years down the line. I mean, in the last year, less than 1% gain by Russia at the cost of 500,000 lives. In recent weeks, Ukraine has shown that even the modest gains are not irreversible. Successful counterattacks have taken back a large amount of territory, inflicted significant losses on Russia in the process. And going from the sort of front line to the economy, last month, Russian oil revenues fell to their lowest level since July 2020. So worth bearing all that in mind as we shift the narrative. Its deficit is 5 times higher than projected. And that is the narrative that we all need to get across to the world. Russia is not winning. Second, we need to increase pressure on Russia and its war economy. And that's why I'm really pleased that today the UK has announced our biggest sanctions package since 2022, targeting 300 energy companies and networks and third country entities funding and supplying Russia's war. So it's 300 entities, including Transneft, which provides pipelines to export sanctioned Russian oil around the world, and a further 48 shadow fleet vessels. And I think it's really important, as Emmanuel said at the last meeting, that we have greater focus and determination into the shadow fleet work that we're doing. We have done more in recent weeks and months. There's more we can do, and we should do, because we know the best way to maximise pressure is a full maritime services ban. Russia depends on Europe for 25% of its oil insurance and services. So depriving Moscow of that would take 1 million barrels a day of oil, Russian oil, off the market. So there are things that we can do, that we are doing, and we need to simply go further and faster. And in particular, I think, and we can probably come back to this, all further options on the shadow fleet to make sure that the oil trade is not transferred to badly maintained sanctions-dodging vessels. And we've all seen that over the last 4 years. Third, of course, we must continue to help Ukraine defend herself and not get drawn into the idea that because there are talks going on, that somehow that means that we don't have to do the hard yards of helping Ukraine to defend herself. We know that Putin is dragging his heels. We know that when it comes to the talk, there's one person standing in the way of progress in those talks, and that is Putin, and nobody but Putin. So in a moment, I'll ask Vladimir to set out what he needs the UK to access and be part of the loan scheme to help Ukraine get what it needs. And of course, Vladimir will say it in a moment. And when he said it, Mark will say it as well. Air defence to protect citizens is absolutely paramount. And thank you to all colleagues who've been helping in that endeavour. And that's why we in the UK announced £500 million more UK air defence support last week, including through Pearl. And you know, all of this is in the face of Russia's sustained attacks over the winter period. And it'll be really good if you recall Ursula and Antonio were going to look at coordinating the work that we all need to do in relation to Ukraine's energy system. So hopefully we're making real progress there. And Vladimir, you were very clear when we were in Munich just 10 days ago that you needed more support for your energy system. And I think we've already mobilised a considerable number of generators in recent weeks and in our discussions and the support that we put in. And equally that international borders cannot be changed by force is a principle we've adhered to in this group very strongly and rightly so. And any settlement will only work with the support of the coalition of the willing. And again, this is something we had the opportunity with colleagues to discuss in Munich. There is an interest, or not just in Europe, but beyond Europe. The coalition of willing countries have an interest in this outcome. It's not something where we are observers looking in. It is our history, it's our territory, it's our peace, it's our values that are at stake here. That is why,
está hablando el primer ministro británico, está hablando Keir Starmer sobre la flota en la sombra rusa. Dice que han hecho más en las últimas semanas y en los últimos meses porque hay que dejar el petróleo ruso fuera del mercado. Dice que deben seguir ayudando a Ucrania a defenderse, aunque haya conversaciones en marcha. Sobre las defensas aéreas, dice Starmer que ha movilizado un gran número de generadores para ayudar a la infraestructura energética, precisamente el hombre del país, del que estamos escuchando ahora mismo, a su presidente. Vamos a escuchar directamente a Volodymyr Zelensky.
And we are so thankful that Ukraine has so big friends as you, and we are very proud. Today we have coalition of the willing, and we have 36 countries, 36 representatives, supporters who are around Ukraine and really against Russian aggression. So I'm very thankful for this support. This is important. I will be very quick. We don't have too much time. And as Keir said, that we are on an open line. We didn't know about it before, but it's okay. What can I say? There are no secrets. Russia attacks our civilians, our energy. We had terrible winter. Yes, and I think that only help of our friends and resilience of our people gave us possibility to survive. That's why we are asking to help us to renovate energy system. I hope that we will end this war, but in any air defense. And thanks, Mark, for Pearl program and other friends and allies. We need Part 3, Part 2. From the United States, and I hope, yeah. Technical troubles. Oh, it's okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we need air defense. We are very thankful for the last package. We are very thankful. I'm not sure that is better, by the way, but we are thankful for the last package of air defense. And I can't share all the details, but half of the package is already here. It came 2 days ago, so thank you so much. This is important. We really count on continuation of this program. Then sanctions, we count on strong support from EU leaders and presidents of Commission and Council. So we're really proud that we have such relations. We count on the next package of sanctions, especially shadow fleet, Russian shadow fleet, to stop their tankers. And of course, we count on not to have too much challenges with 90 billion. The decision was great, but we need this money here in Ukraine to help our warriors and to help our civilians. And the last thing, then I think without press, we will speak more about negotiations where we are. Some things which I wanted to share with you. We need Europe in negotiations. We do what we can to involve Europeans as much as possible. And we count on your leadership in all this negotiation process. We will have trilateral format, I think, during this week or 10 days. And
estamos escuchando al presidente ucraniano Volodymyr Zelensky, que dice, bueno, pues que está compartiendo con sus socios europeos cómo está la situación en este cuarto aniversario de la guerra. Dice que necesita a Europa en la mesa de negociaciones y además advierte sobre que la próxima semana se espera una nueva reunión trilateral entre Estados Unidos, Rusia y Ucrania.
Coalition willing in saying, please use whatever means you can to express our support and solidarity as a group of nations to all Ukrainians on this marking of the 4 years of the conflict, and be absolutely clear with them that we stand with Ukraine for as long as is necessary. Emmanuel, can I come to you?
Thank you, Keir. Hello, everybody. Hello, Volodymyr. First of all, let me reiterate the fact that we stand with you and all our support to you and your people. And Rob, welcome to the club. Happy to have you around this VTC. To go straight to the point, I want to comment on all initiatives in terms of negotiation, but I'm very skeptical, to say the least, on the fact that we will deliver a short-term peace. I mean, I think it's good to follow up these initiatives, but let's be lucid. There is no willingness on the Russian side to have a peace, and by the way, to have a robust and solid peace, as we see fitted at this very moment. Having said that, what should we do on top of what was already said? First, continue our support to Ukraine. I want to commend all the colleagues for the contribution. We will work, but Ursula and Antonio will probably revert on our 90 billion package, but we will deliver that, no choice, because we committed and we had an agreement at the European Council. And as well on the energy front, thank you, Volodymyr, for sharing your request. We got a G7 leader statement on the war in Ukraine, and I will make sure that everybody has this G7 statement. And it is very clear as well on the support of the G7 on the energy side. And the point taken on the air defense and your request on the short run. Second, pressure on Russia. So we will have to work hard on the 20th package of sanctions, follow up the effort as well with the US on what they do and what we are doing. And let me insist once again on the shadow fleet. Keir mentioned the very good figures we have. We had recent very good operations. Denmark as well on Saturday had very good operations. And I want to encourage colleagues to make more on that, because clearly disrupting shadow fleet activities is very efficient. And we see that we are completely killing the business model of these guys. Obviously, because the insurance costs are skyrocketing, but as well because when we take the substance, when we put penalties and so on, we kill the business model of these shadow fleets. So it's very important we do more. Yesterday, we had a call with the NB8. Our Estonian colleagues had very good ideas. I don't want to be longer, but I think we have to follow up this effort and do much more. My last point, because I don't want to repeat what was already said by Volodymyr and Keir, is about the security guarantees. The job is being finalized by our SHOD. I think it's super important that now, based on our meeting beginning of January, we follow up till the end. And I encourage all colleagues to lift caveats in order to facilitate the planner's job. It's super important we finalize everything we agreed on in concrete terms in order to make it credible for a long and robust peace.
El presidente francés Emmanuel Macron diciendo que los rusos están siendo derrotados en este momento. Dice que van a entregar un paquete de 90.000 millones a Ucrania porque no hay otra opción. Hablando sobre el papel de Europa, también sobre el papel de Estados Unidos, dice que hay que animar a Donald Trump, hay que animar a Estados Unidos a ponerse del lado de Ucrania. Dice que Rusia está siendo derrotada en estos momentos. Seguimos escuchando a Macron.
And to be sure that you can count on all of us in the beginning of this 5th year of the Russian war of aggression against Ukraine, and to clearly to share our solidarity and our commitment to your fellow citizens.
Emmanuel, thank you very much. Friedrich Merz is on a state funeral today, so he can't be with us, but he's done a short video, which I propose we play, because I think we're still got the media with us just for the time being. So can we set that up, please?
Dear Emmanuel, dear Keir, I thank you for convening today's meeting of the Coalition of the Willing. Dear Volodymyr, dear friends, I deeply regret that I cannot join you in person today due to the state funeral honoring our former President of Parliament and a towering figure in German democracy, Rita Süssmuth, so I have to stay in Berlin today. Now, today marks a somber milestone. For 4 long years, the Ukrainian people have defended not only their sovereignty, but the very foundations of the European peace order. We bow our heads in honor of the immense sacrifices made by Ukrainian soldiers and civilians alike. Their courage remains an inspiration to the entire world. Germany's commitment to Ukraine remains ironclad. Today, we are Ukraine's strongest supporter. For 2026, my government has increased our military support up to 11.5 billion euro. And we are rapidly deepening our defense industrial cooperation. In the European Union, we are working to operationalize the 90 billion euro loan so that the first disbursements can be made in April. Within this coalition, we are working to provide robust security guarantees to ensure that Ukraine never faces such aggression again. So we must be very clear. This war will only end when Putin realizes that he cannot win. That is why we must increase pressure on Russia. We must dry up Moscow's war funding. The 20th package of sanctions by the European Union has precisely this goal. Moscow is not as strong as it would like the world to think. Russia is not winning. So we will continue to work towards a lasting peace, a peace without forced territorial concessions that would reward aggression and underpinned by strong security guarantees. Security in Ukraine and security in Europe are inseparable. European security cannot be negotiated without Europeans at the table. We stand with Ukraine for freedom, for sovereignty, and for a secure Europe. Thank you to all of you, and have a good meeting today. Looking forward to see you next time.
Great, thank you very much. And now we'll go back live, as it were. Mark, can I bring you in just to give us the NATO perspective?
Yes, thank you, Keir and Emmanuel.
Escuchando esta coalición de voluntarios sobre Ucrania, han escuchado en los últimos minutos a Merz, a Macron, a Starmer, también al presidente ucraniano Volodymyr Zelensky, anunciando este paquete de 90.000 millones, anunciando también, bueno, tanto por parte de Macron como de Starmer, que Rusia está siendo derrotado en un contexto en el que en Rusia ya se está hablando de que tanto Francia como Reino Unido quieren suministrar armas nucleares a Ucrania. Vamos a hacer una pequeña pausa, un par de minutos, enseguida seguimos con más información, con más últimas horas, Negocios Televisión.
¿Qué tal? Esto es Ponte en Acción. Ponemos el foco en dónde invertir en 2026. ¿Dónde están las oportunidades de inversión en bolsa?
Сьогодні вранці президент Путін оголосив проведення спеціальної військової операції на Донбасі.
Мною принято решение по проведению специальной военной операции.
You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III.
Buenos días, 8 de la mañana es la figura de Charlie. Buenos días, 8 de la mañana dicen que al oro le han bajado a la tierra después de la jornada de ayer.
Seguimos en Negocios Televisión.
Mañana continuamos en Negocios Televisión.
Sean bienvenidos de nuevo a Negocios Televisión.
Negocios Televisión.
Sobre todo intentando ver lo que Europa está poniendo encima de la mesa en esos ejercicios militares. Es la de Macron. Francia al borde del colapso. No vivía un movimiento de salida de tantas mociones de censura contra los primeros ministros que va poniendo uno detrás de otro, van cayendo. De no, es que Europa crece. ¿Qué va a crecer Europa? Si lo que hace es endeudarse. Y ahora que ya tienes todo el modelo al borde del colapso y que ve la élite que la situación ahora mismo es dramática, que le está diciendo una parte de la población: vamos a las calles. Vamos a las calles. ¿Qué es lo que ya definitivamente termina por controlarlos a todos, por observarlos a todos, por tenerlos a todos en el punto de mira? El anillo de Sauron en el entorno europeo, el euro digital. A partir de aquí, se finí. El gobierno de turno le está diciendo: vivimos mejor que nunca. Dicen: vivirás tú, que estás en tu palacio, pero no nos tomes el pelo. Es que el presidente del gobierno gana poco dinero.